Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is objectively a massive success for the developers at Insomniac Games, with over 2.5 million copies sold within the first 24 hours of release and currently sitting at a 90 on Metacritic. It's safe to say that most would agree that Spider-Man 2 as a whole was an improvement over the original experience. In my review of Spider-Man 2, I gave it an 8 out of 10, with my main problem being the lack of overall innovation between the two games. It was this lack of innovation that, in my opinion, led to Spider-Man 2 going home empty-handed at the Game Awards. Well, besides Best Original Suit Design.
What the fuck are you wearing?
It's time for a Miles Morales original, you know? One of one.
That shit's ass, bro.
But in all seriousness, after taking some time to think about my overall experience with the game, I've identified numerous ways in which the next installment in Insomniac's Spider-Man franchise can truly elevate itself above its contemporaries and finally bring home the Game of the Year. Starting with the movement, I would like to see a number of refinements of the web swinging mechanics. The web swinging as is well implemented, and I have had a great time using the system, with moments that I envision would fit right into the movies. My main issue with the swinging is the way the system holds the player's hand. Insomniac is seemingly afraid to allow the player to make a mistake or lose momentum, and there is a reason for this. The physics engine is not equipped to simulate the impact of a sudden stop or complete loss in momentum, as you can see in this clip, where an animation is not triggered upon a mistake in swinging. In Spider-Man 2, you will routinely see webs clipping through walls, auto-correcting animations, and an overall lack of a realistic physics system. To try and hide these flaws in the engine, the game will force the player to release their web line at the end of a swing. Yet at times, you can completely bypass this contingency, and when looking at clips like this, it becomes clear there really is no physics system implemented in this game, and I think that is something that needs to change in the next installment. The option to change the swing assist settings is a step in the right direction, but all this removes is the barrier between the player and the ground, and I hope to see more settings like this in the future. Parkour is another aspect of the traversal system that could use an upgrade. The entire parkour system was seemingly built to serve the handcrafted set pieces within various story missions. Yet in the open world, the parkour feels slow, stiff, and limited, especially when compared to the web swinging option as a whole. At the very least, some new animations are needed here, as if I'm not mistaken, the parkour animations have been copy and pasted directly from the original. Also, I would like to see the ability to more seamlessly mix parkour and web swinging. I envision something like the final swing in The Amazing Spider-Man as an example of how this could work in-game. Another area that is lacking is wall crawling. Unfortunately, no noticeable changes were made to improve upon this notably lacking system, and there are many instances where the game simply will not allow you to move how you desire, with Spider-Man unable to climb over the most basic of obstacles, and in many cases, an inability to transition from the wall onto the ceiling or vice versa. I don't feel like Spider-Man when I am unable to crawl across a 2-inch gap. All that is needed here are more animations to allow the player to move how Spider-Man should. I do understand that most players rarely use the wall crawling mechanics, but it's a staple of Spider-Man as a character, and it feels weird to see it so poorly implemented, especially when this is the third game Insomniac has developed. Overall, what I want in the movement mechanics is a system that truly tests the player's ability, providing a higher skill ceiling, offering more options for traversal, and refining the current issues with the mechanic. I think an interesting angle that they could play in the next game is to showcase the difference in strengths between both Spider-Man through the gameplay. Peter, as of now, is noticeably underpowered compared to Miles, specifically without his anti-venom suit, which I would prefer if they don't keep in the next game, because it looks absolutely horrible, and it goes against the anti-symbiote themes that have been established in-game, and Peter shouldn't need it to be on a similar playing field as Miles. To level the playing field, I think they should make Peter's base attacks do more damage than Miles, and maybe give him a higher swing swing speed to show his experience, and also bring back the gadgets from the first game. And for Miles, I think he should be faster on foot, more agile, and have expanded Venom abilities. There are so many ways they can take this, but in the next installment, I hope to see more variety between each Spider-Man in gameplay besides their special abilities. Finally, I want to address the Crimson Chin, Mary Jane sections. Just remove these from the game. Mary Jane doesn't have to be going toe-to-toe with symbiotes like she's John Wick to be a good character. I don't know how Peter is letting her go off on these wild missions when he was worried about Harry in the field with the symbiote suit. Come on, Insomniac, this does not make any sense. To quickly wrap up, I want to address some basic features that were surprisingly left out of the base release of Spider-Man 2. New Game Plus is one such addition. The main issue here is that some of the best suits are locked behind a ridiculously high level cap. In fact, even at 79% completion of the game and currently sitting at level 57, I still have not unlocked Tom Holland's newest suit, even after beating the main story. I understand that New Game Plus is difficult to implement, and Insomniac was likely forced to meet certain deadlines, but at the very least, don't put these suits behind ridiculous level caps. Another basic mechanic that wasn't included is a day and night cycle. Even in the first game, you could at least choose a time of day after the main story ended, but here, you are forced to play the rest of the game in the early afternoon with no weather effects. Anyways, that's about all I've got, but what do you guys think? Leave any suggestions you guys have in the comments below, and if I got anything wrong, please correct me, but anyways, have a good one.